Hello YouTube, my name is NerosCinema, some more Call of Duty World War II. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today I have a roundup of news and information for Call of Duty World War II, as well as my first impressions of the new content that was just added with the Resistance DLC event. Let's start things off with what I think is one of the most underrated aspects of the recent update. Sledgehammer Games has redesigned the default classes here in Call of Duty World War II. The default Airborne class now features the Tommy gun as compared to the WWII. The default Armored Division now features the MG15 instead of the Bren. The Mountain Division features the Springfield as compared to the Lee Enfield, and the new Resistance Division is now available as a default class, featuring the Sten submachine gun as your primary weapon. This is incredible to me. A few years back, post-launch weapons were only available in supply drops, and drop rates were so incredibly low that you could blow through like $500. I've seen people do it in their videos, blow through $500 and not get a single new weapon to play with. It was quite literally gambling. You were playing a slot machine to be able to access some new content in both Advanced Warfare and Black Ops 3. You then compare that to Call of Duty World War II, and here I am on a level 1 account playing with a post-launch weapon and a post-launch division. The system is far from perfect, don't get me wrong, but with each passing year, the supply drop business model seems to be getting better and better and more consumer friendly. I can't speak for everyone, but I haven't spent a single cent on supply drops here in this game, and I was able to get every single DLC weapon the moment it released. There was no waiting, there was no gambling, no buying supply drops. I simply saved my armory credits in between events, and I got all of them pretty much immediately. The downside to World War II's system is DLC weapons become harder and harder to obtain after an event goes away. So here on my level 1 account, if I wanted to unlock the Sten submachine gun, I use it as a default class, now I want to get it for myself, or maybe get the Gewehr or the GPMG, I'm pretty much reliant on supply drops or daily orders from Major Howard. The thing about Howard's orders is, while I really do like the system right now, if they don't update it, it's going to get much worse in the future as they add more weapons to the game. So as of the Resistance update, we have 8 total weapons in the rotation for Major Howard's orders. That means if you're looking for one specific weapon, for example the Sten, and you miss out on that order, you have to wait 8 days for it to pop back up in the rotation, which is a very long time for one weapon. Not to mention, once you do get that order, you have to complete 50 multiplayer matches, which can oftentimes take 2 days, 3 days, an entire week maybe, depending on how much you play, which means you're not able to pick up any more orders while you're completing that previous one. So right now, it's a decent system, but if they keep adding more weapons to the game, it's going to get harder and harder to obtain the weapons you actually want. So I hope Sledgehammer Games plans to address that before they add more weapons to the game with the next event. One idea I have for a solution is they can make it so the base variant of previous event weapons are added to the collection tab, so players can obtain them with armory credits once a new event is released. So right now, with the Resistance event, I think it would be cool if the base variant of the weapons that came out with Winter Siege were available in the collections tab so we can buy them with armory credits, as compared to only relying on supply drops and what we got with Major Howard. Another alternative they could possibly go with is perhaps when it comes to Major Howard's orders, they could split them up between primary weapons and melee weapons, so we don't have to wait an entire week to get a primary weapon order that we may have missed or something like that. There's a lot they could actually do with it. Those are just some ideas off the top of my head, and so far, I'm actually very happy with how Sledgehammer Games is handling post-launch content here in Call of Duty World War II, but I really do hope that they continue to innovate and create more ways to get DLC weapons into the hands of fans, because right now, as somebody who's played the game since launch and was there for every single event, I have all the weapons. That feels really good, but if you just bought the game today, it's a lot harder for you to get those weapons, so I hope Sledgehammer Games plans to address that. But for right now, I do think we should acknowledge the fact that just a couple of years ago, you could only get DLC weapons from a slot machine, whereas nowadays, you can get DLC weapons for free in a number of different ways, and one of them is literally a default class that anybody can use from the moment they pick up the game. That is definitely a step in the right direction for the Call of Duty series. That definitely changes things up quite a bit, and I'm hoping that Treyarch is paying attention to all this, because the last time they made a Call of Duty game, they had the worst supply drop business model we've ever seen in the Call of Duty franchise. So we're going to want to see how it plays plays out. But ladies and gentlemen, let's transition away from that for a moment and start talking about the new content that just came out yesterday, the Volkssturmgewehr rifle, the Orso submachine gun, and of course, the brand new Division. When it comes to the new weapons, I really like them. I think I like them a lot more than any weapon that came out with Winter Siege, and the reason why that is because I tend to prefer the higher fire rate weapons. Some of my favorite guns in this game are the Tommy gun, the STG-44, the M1941, and the MG-42, so when the Orso submachine gun and the Volkssturmgewehr rifle came out, I basically picked them up and immediately fell in love with them. Now, the official stats have not yet been released, but based on my hand testing, it looks like the fire rate on the Sturmgewehr is right in between that of the STG-44 and the M1941, call it about 700-ish rounds per minute. This gun has virtually no recoil, solid damage, and it has an incredibly satisfying sound. You're watching me play war here, and I get that I'm not exactly facing MLG pros, but you can see as I'm like shooting these guys across the map just how powerful this gun can really be. I saw Wings of Redemption on Twitter call this gun Granddad's ACR, and I think he really does have a point. It feels a lot like the ACR did back in Modern Warfare 3, which, by the way, Sledgehammer Games had a big hand in creating, and if it does have that 700-ish rounds per minute, it actually may be a reskin of the ACR for all we know. I can't wait to see what the official stats are going to say, but for right now, I really do enjoy this gun. With the STG being my favorite rifle in this game, this gun is really giving it a run for its money right now. It could be the honeymoon phase. I just got it. I'm going to need to continue testing it and playing around with it a bit more, but my first impressions are I freaking love this gun. I just wish it had an easier name to pronounce. Moving on over to the Orso submachine gun here, we have a weapon that I'm seeing a lot of mixed opinions on. People are saying it's either the God gun or it's the worst SMG in the entire game, and there's really no in between, which, to be fair, we had the same thing happen when the Sten came out with Winter Siege. People thought it was either the God gun or the worst gun ever. I think that the Orso is a solid middle-of-the-road SMG right now, though again, these are just my first impressions. I did some hand testing, just like with the Volkssturmgewehr, and it looks like it has a faster fire rate than the MP40 and the PPSH, but it's not as fast as the Tommy gun, which makes it the third fastest firing submachine gun in the game. I find it actually does have high recoil, which maybe that's turning a lot of players off, but its recoil isn't really that hard to manage for me because it's pretty much vertical recoil. You hold down the stick, it's pretty easy to manage, and you can melt people at those close to medium ranges thanks to the fact that you have that pretty high fire rate. So right now, my impressions are it's a good SMG. I don't think it's as good as the PPSH. I don't think it's as good as the Tommy gun, but it's a good, solid submachine gun that adds a lot of variety to the Call of Duty World War II multiplayer. And dare I say, and I'm only throwing this in because it's just, I can't get past this, does it feel like the MP5 to any of you guys out there? Because to me, it sort of just reminds me of the MP5 submachine gun, but again, we're going to have to see once the official stats are released, which will probably happen in the coming days, but for right now, to me, it feels like the MP5, and I'd love to hear what you guys think down there in the comment section below, as well as your review of the new Resistance weapons. Do you think they're good? Did they live up to the hype? Are they a disappointment? Leave your thoughts and feedback down there in the comments. Unfortunately, I have not yet been able to play around with the 9mm pistol because I'm kind of torn as to whether or not I want to prestige the Resistance division or stay at level 4 and continue testing the division itself. My first impressions of the division are I think it's actually pretty good, but it's going to be niche, right? Because of the scrambler effect. I'm actually seeing a lot of people right now advocating that we should be able to turn on and off the scrambler effect with the D-pad, which may be a good idea, but forcing people to have scrambler is actually a very interesting gameplay mechanic. As somebody who's been playing this series for a decade now, I love it when developers add unique gameplay mechanics to their game that force you to play in a different way. I'm not talking about like the airborne division where you run faster or, you know, the armored division where you can like eat a grenade or two. This makes you think and approach different situations in a different way than you normally would because of that scrambler effect. Not only do you have scrambler, but other people on the other team are also going to occasionally have scrambler, and it really does change up how objective modes are going to be played. Now, I will say, modes like free-for-all, team deathmatch, search and destroy, I don't think it's going to be very good. It gives you away, it's not that great, but if you're playing something like Hardpoint or Domination, I can see it actually being very good. If you use it properly, it's actually a pretty good division in my experience so far. I think we're seeing a lot of people using it because it's brand new, but I have a feeling we're going to see less and less people using it over the coming days as they go back to the tried and trues, you know, the infantry division, the airborne division, the mountain division. But for right now, I'm enjoying how it's changing up the World War II multiplayer, and I can't wait to see, once the dust is settled, how it's going to fit within the meta of Call of Duty World War II. What do you guys think? What are your impressions of the Resistance event so far? What are your thoughts on the new guns, the new division, and of course the new game mode prop hunt? I'd love to hear all of that down there in the comment section below. Unfortunately, and I'm sure you guys want to hear about this, Sledgehammer Games nerfed prop hunt last night. Can you believe it? They freaking nerfed prop hunt. When they released it, the numbers were out of whack apparently, currently, and as a result, even if you didn't do anything whatsoever, you'd basically get 50 to 60,000 experience every single match, and they were pretty quick to hotfix that out and tweak the numbers and make it so you don't earn too much experience while playing Prop Hunt, which is unfortunate, but I'm actually having a lot of fun playing it because the addition of the decoys is a lot of fun. I just wish the whistles weren't as frequent as they are, because right now, if you're hunting, there's really no situation where there's like a penalty for you just shooting everything mindlessly, so eventually, it feels like the hunters are going to win. Like 90% of the time, the hunters win. I would like to see more things put into place that allow the props to win, but we're going to have to see how it plays out. Keep in mind, Prop Hunt is only available until January 30th, at which point it will go away and not come back until February 20th, so get your fill while you can. Also, if you are a Twitch or Amazon Prime member, check your mailbox in the headquarters because there will be a supply drop and a bribe waiting for you, though in my opinion, hold on to that bribe until the end of the event so you are guaranteed something good, like a variant of one of the new weapons. Now, I have to say this every single time there's a Twitch promotion, but I feel like it's very important to be transparent with you guys. I am in no way affiliated with either Twitch or Amazon. They are not a sponsor of mine or anything like that, and I have to say this because it sounds like I'm trying to sell you guys something, but I promise you this is not a, oh, look at this website I just found kind of a situation. It's just me relaying news to you guys because it's something interesting that's happening with Call of Duty World War II. So, if you are not a Twitch or Amazon Prime member, you can get the stuff I just showed you along with the Bon Voyage Animated Zombies camo for free by linking your Call of Duty account to your Twitch account. There's a free 30-day trial, and this is where it sounds creepy. There's a link to that down there in the description. This is absurd. I promise I'm not trying to sell you guys anything. There's a link to it down there in the description. And if you sign up for the 30-day trial, you get the Bon Voyage camo as well as the Resistance Supply Drop and the Resistance Bribe. And then you can cancel your 30-day trial, not spend any money whatsoever, and still keep all the content. But keep in mind, you only get one free trial. So if you use it now for Resistance, you'll get the Bon Voyage camo, you'll get the Supply Drop and the Bribe, but you can't have another trial. So if another event comes out later on down the line, you can't just sign up, get the stuff for free, then deactivate yet again. You only get one of them, so use it wisely. And if you are a Twitch Prime or Amazon Prime member, all you have to do is link your Call of Duty account to either of those accounts, and each month they will send you a free supply drop and a free bribe in your in-game mail. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is all for this video. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts and your impressions so far of all the Resistance content down there in the comment section below, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.